Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers?
Hi, I'm Sandra Michaan, and we're at the Caskey Lee's Vintage Clothing and Textile Show in Burbank. We're going to go in and visit Allyn Scura Eyewear, who sells at the Alameda Point Vintage Fashion Fair. Hi, I'm here with Scott of
Allyn Scura Eyewear.
And I wanted to ask you a question about collectible trends in eyewear. Could you tell us a little bit about that right now? What are people buying in the eyewear field of collecting?
Well, I think a little bit like the music industry, it's very segmented. So there are more people that are interested in vintage eyewear today than they were, say, 20 years ago when we first started. But there's something for everyone. You know, we span maybe 100 years of eyewear, and across all the different styles, there is something for everyone. I think if it's bold and unique, somebody's going to want it. And so it's, I think, unlike any other time in our business history, everything is selling.
That's great. And what do you think might be the most popular kind of eyewear for sunglasses, perhaps?
Sunglasses right now are mostly in the 1970s, 80s, oversized for both men and women. The Ray-Ban Wayfarer and Aviator are still going strong. It's been going for a decade or two, and I don't see any sign of it weakening. But there's a lot of other stuff that we sell, but those are always big sellers.
Well, great. Thanks for talking with us. And we're going to go over and talk to a couple of their customers right now.
Gosh, oh, get up. How'd they get so lit up? Gosh, oh, get up. How'd they get their size?
I'm here with
Christina McKay.
Christina. Could you tell us a little bit why you like to shop for vintage?
Absolutely. I love vintage because so much of it is made here in America. Or you'll find what I found here are some marvelous glasses that are from France and from Italy, the actual frames. And they're one of a kind. You're never going to find them again. And just like these, which are so fabulous. Look at these. They're going to put the lenses in for me. So I won't see anyone walking around with these.
Those are fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Those look beautiful on you.
Thank you. I'm so excited about them because, you know, I'll never see them again. No one else will either. And I was an Air Force brat. My father was a colonel in the Air Force, and we lived all over the world. So this is my way to go back to my childhood, exploring and looking in all these marvelous little places and finding all these little wonderful things that nobody else has. So it's like, it's collecting. It's like antiques. It's vintage. And it's unique and one of a kind. So that's what I like.
So, Christina, will you show us some of your lovely vintage accessories that you have?
Absolutely. This is a darling little vintage pocketbook.
Look at this purse with the lace.
And the lace lining that comes in that. And then this is a vintage clapper bracelet. They're just marvelous. They're all, again, pretty much one of a kind.
That's fabulous.
It's all the black jet beads. And then this is a vintage necklace, also one of a kind. And these are all real yellow pearls, which I've never seen before. And again, the beautiful black onyx, which is so gorgeous as well. Wow. So that's fun. Again, one of a kind. I love it.
Sensational.
And my hat, which the hat is a vintage hat as well. And so that's fun with a vintage hairpin to hold it in because I'm driving my vintage 64.5 Mustang convertible today. So I've got to keep this on so my hair doesn't fly forward and I can't see how to drive. So this is what you get to have, go back in nostalgia and just see life the way it was, which I imagine in the 50s would have been fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you look sensational. Thank you for sharing your fabulous vintage attire with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
We're at the Caskey Lee Show in Burbank, California, and I am speaking with
Johnny Garcia.
And Johnny, could you tell us a little bit why you like vintage and why you shop vintage shows?
Well, I love shopping vintage shows because it's more of a hobby than anything else. And I just love the fact that everything is really well made, you know, and like I said, you know, to others, my friends, they ask me the same question. What do you get out of finding all that stuff? They call it junk. I call it treasures, you know, and then it's the quality of the glasses, the whatever, you know, the wardrobe. It's just fantastically made, and it's stuff lasts and lasts and lasts. Well, they made things back in the day to last. You know, the old vintage cars, the old craftsman homes, you know, with the old vintage clothes. You know, you can't find that stuff anywhere, and it's when you do, they're like treasures. You know, and you can't go into a regular department store and pick up a pair of vintage glasses or a pair of vintage shirts or pants or anything like that, you know, and you really got to shop around for an old vintage car. You really got to look around for those old vintage homes. But I think it's all fabulous. I mean, everything made back then was well made back then, you know, and it lasts today.
Exactly.
See, look at all the stuff that is here. You know, it just continues to go into somebody else's hands, into someone else, and just keeps going and going and going and going. It's great. Yeah. It's really fun. It's a great hobby. Expensive hobby.
But it's well worth it.
But it's well worth it. Yes, because none of this stuff, I don't think it depreciates. I think it appreciates, you know, with the jewelry, the glasses. Those glasses she's getting are just fantastic. And then within time, they're just going to go up in value. And you're never going to find a pair of glasses like that, you know? And it's just amazing how this stuff is. I mean, it's great. My YouTube channel is Garcia069. So if you go on that channel, you'll find a lot of interesting things, like old vintage clips from movies, burlesque, and the list goes on and on and on.
Great. Thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So come and join us on May 18th and 19th at the Oak Club at the Alameda Point Vintage Fashion Fair.
How they hypnotize, oh, where'd you get those eyes? Jeepers, jeepers, weepers, creepers, where did you get those eyes?